Hello everyone, it's Bertie here, the Recycled Hippie Chick. Welcome to Junk Journaling for Beginners, Episode 3. I have a nice day out, so I thought, what the heck, let's get out here and play in the art room. Where is my mat? Here it is. Okay. All right. So today, the last episode we picked out some papers and made our book. Today, I want to go through and start putting some color on the pages, showing you different ways that we can put color on the pages. I ended up putting a cover on mine. I hadn't planned on it. I was just going to do a signature of papers, but I ran across this flower bag and thought, what the heck, let's make a cover out of it. Now, when I open my flower bag, it has that flap, that was the bottom. I cut to open that up, is what I did. So this is going to be a little pocket in here. So what I'm going to do is glue this little short part down so that this is just a pocket in here. So let's go ahead and do that now so it can be drying while we're doing other things. I'm just gluing this down. There we go. I'm a junkie journaler, so I don't care if it's rippledy or, anything like that. I just want to get it down. There's a couple little bitty little flippy flaps right here that I want to glue down, just so that they're not getting caught on anything. And you could, if you have scrapbook paper, you could glue something over that. I have one of these circle punches. You can get all kinds of punches. If you have a circle punch, this would be great to make a little divot right here for a thumb hold. If you don't, and see, mine's not going to go, there it is. If you don't, just take your scissors and cut a little swoopy swoop thing down there. Okay, there, I have a pocket. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to start out. I have something called gesso here. It's supposed to go over things and give it some tooth for your ink or paint or watercolor or whatever you're using to stick to. You don't have to use gesso. If you just want to use paint, you could use white paint, you could use black paint, you could use whatever color paint you want and just paint over this if you want. Or you could glue scrapbook paper to it, whatever you want to do to decorate this. I don't know why. I'm just being drawn to put a little bit of gesso on it, just to get it covered. I'm a little overwhelmed about what I want to do with it, so this just gives me a jumping off point. Put something on there so that later on I can either paint over it or glue a picture on it or put some material on it, whatever I decide to do. This just gives me a jumping off point. Okay, now what I'm wanting to do inside is some of these pages I'm wanting to put some gesso on, and some of them I'm wanting to put gesso and collage. I want to go through and just do a little bit of collage papering. I like to do that. I like to follow Shannon Green's Journaling by Fives method. And her method is Your first step is collaging. Then you do color. You put some paint, inks, whatever you want to on it. Then you go through and put some stamps and stencils on it if you have them. And if you don't, I'll show you some other things you can use besides stamps and stencils. And then you go through and put a focal image on it. And then you go through and you put a sentiment on it, or some doodling, or just something else. I'm just going through and just getting something started. Is all I'm doing here. I'm sorry, kitties. I'm going to just rush through it and get something down on it, so that can be drying while I'm going back through and gluing some little collage spots on it. You don't have to do every page, or you can do every page. You'll see as you do it. Oh, there's another one of those pockets that we could cut and turn into a pocket if we wish. Or I'm going to do this one differently. I'm going to just staple my flippy flap down, and I'm going to cut my little end off up here. And I'm just going to make, and there's those little things again. I'm just going to cut these off on this one, see what happens. And now we have a pocket again. And I'm going to put my little cutout spot on this side. There we go. We have another pocket. So anyway, I don't even know what I was saying. So we're just going to continue on here. There's so many videos out there. I was watching Recrafted by Carol today. She was showing a video of her. She has made a journal like this of her samples. Samples of things that she can make. So as she learns to make something, she puts it in this book so that she can look back on it later and say, oh, yeah, I remember that pocket. So it gives her ideas when she wants to make something else. So, Recrafted. Carol, she hardly uses anything that's not free also. So she's a good one to watch if you're on a budget. So, the Journaling by Fives method, if you ever decide to look that up and try that, they give you a time limit. It's kind of a challenge. Those steps that I told you about, collage, paint, stamp and stencil, yada yada, you have 15 minutes to do each one in every page of your book. So you're just hurrying up and going clear through your book and doing each step like I'm doing right now. I'm kind of going through and doing, you know, just putting some type of color on each page. You have to do that in 15 minutes, and then you go on to the next step. And by the time you're done, you have done an entire journal without even thinking about it, because you don't have time to think, oh, does this color match? Oh, what picture should I put here? You're just grabbing a picture and you're just putting it in. And it's really good for me because I tend to overthink things. And it changed my world of junk journaling. When I first started, I watched Shannon Green's Journaling by Fives and just changed my world. So, if you ever get interested to look something like that up, feel free to do that. Okay, I'm going to just stop right there because I'm just so afraid all these pages are just going to stick together. So I'm going to go back and start gluing some collage papers down. One thing I wanted to glue down just for texture is I have these doilies. And boy, you have to really make sure. Did you know these doilies are like 15 or 20 of them stuck together? And you just have to figure out which layer is what, and make sure. It's kind of like coffee filters. My husband was using coffee filters up so fast, and then I realized he was using 3 or 4 at a time because he didn't realize they were stuck together like that. So, you know, honey me had to set him straight. Okay, so I'm going to glue these in, and I'm going to use my matte medium or Mod Podge or glue stick or whatever you wish to do. I'm going to use my matte gel medium. I'm just in the mood to do that. See, I'm already sticking together. Maybe I should stop this and dry these pages. Let me go ahead and use this matte medium up right here. And I am just putting papers in for texture. That's all I'm doing, because I'm going to paint over the top of them. So I'm just going through right now, and on every page or two, I'm just sticking a piece of this doily down. And it will give a nice little texture to paint over later. It's just a layer. Yeah, I'm sticking. I'm sticking. That's okay. I don't mind. I like that texture too. But I am going to stop when I get this little bit of gel medium used up here and go back with my dryer and dry these pages so they're not all sticking together. Okay, let me go through here and dry these. Am I even taping? Am I taping? Yes, I am. Okay, well, that was a really big bad idea. So we're going to kind of back step here. Every single one of my pages stuck together. So we're going to back step here, and we're just going to do one page at a time. There's some pages that are so bad, that stuck together so badly, that I am just going to glue, like this envelope stuck so badly that I'm just going to glue it down like that. Okay, let's just go through and do one whole page all at the same time instead of just trying to run through the book and doing several pages at once. I'm just trying to think of what would be the easiest for you guys, that I can get these in 30-minute sessions instead of holding you over forever in each video. So I'm just going to continue on, and we're just going to do these 2 pages right here. It'll just be easier, because boy, I was making everything stick. So that's a good lesson for you, to not do what Birdie did. Not sure I'm really crazy about that matte medium. It's really, really runny. Not sure I'm crazy about it. So remember, I'm just collaging on here. These are book pages that I just sat in front of the TV with a marker and just made marks on it. So you can tear them apart and use them in your collage. That's all that is. Let's see what else here I have. Here's a piece of old music book that I just went through and scribbled some paint on. So that's something else we can use. Just collaging some stuff on there to get some interest, something to add to our layers. See, That is so watery that it doesn't have hardly any stick to it to really make everything stick down like Mod Podge does. Mod Podge is, at least it's a little sticky. This is Liquitex, and I'm not crazy about it. But my pages stick together with the Mod Podge, so I like the gel, I think. It's called Matte Gel Medium, and it comes in a container like this that you just scoop in your brush like a paste. I think I'm going to have to get some of that. Okay, now, I've got a couple pieces of collage paper on there. What else could I show you? Here's a magazine page. It's got some colorful lipsticks on it that I could tear up and use for color to add to my page. Let's do that over here. Okay. We're not going to bark. We're not going to bark. Okay, now I'm going to stop right there. Let's put a little couple of something over there. Just whatever you have at the house. Just scraps of whatever you have. Here's like an old poem or something. I like book page. I like, what do you call this? You know, I like, yeah, book pages. I'm going to use my tacky glue on this one. It's kind of a thick piece of paper, and I don't know if that stuff will hold it down. Oh. I'm just going to put it over here on this other side. Like that. No rhyme or reason. Just playing. Just having fun. Okay, I want to put a little something over here. And I am just trying to show you different things you can use. So I'm just looking through my box of scraps over here that I have. Trying to find something that would be fun. Here's a magazine. With just some different pillows and stuff on it. And I thought those would be cool to use for collage. I'm going to tear just a little bit off the end so it fits. Using my tacky glue or whatever glue you got. You will look at magazines and books in a whole new light. You'll see them as an art supply. Don't sit for hours thinking, oh, well, what focal point do I want? Or what do I want to make this theme of this book about? Because actually, your book comes to life as you make it. It just kind of evolves. I don't even have a focal point yet. Right now, I'm just wanting to see what kind of texture I can get on it. Okay, now I'm going to, while that's drying just a minute, I want to show you something else. I ran across these two pages in my scrap bin, and this one was tea dyed. And I thought, oh, that would be a cute page just like this, and I ran across this one that was also tea dyed, where you just lay a stencil over it, or a doily, or this one here, I laid a placemat over it while it was drying outside in the sun, and it made that shape on there. So you'll see different things around the house you've got that you can use. Just dip your paper in coffee or tea and lay it outside in the sun and put something with some shape over it, like a placemat or something, or a stencil if you have them, and let it dry. And then when you remove it, you've got this beautiful shape. So I thought, okay, well, what if we want to add those? So let's go through and say, well, I've already got my pages put together, but what if I want to add this in there? You just pick wherever you would like to put it. I'm going to tear a little off the top or cut it, however you want to do it. And I'm going to go right here, and I'm just going to take some tape. I have some of this brown box tape, but you can use masking tape or whatever you have. Sometimes I use this cloth medical tape. I'm just going to pull some of this off. And I'm going to stick it on my page. And I'm just going to take my page and stick it in there where I want it. And remember, I'm grungy, so I don't really care a lot of times if things are perfect. But I would like to see where my edge is. Ooh, it's sticky. I'm just going to stick it down in there. Well, this isn't as easy as I thought it would be. There we go. And I'm just going to put that tape in there. And now I have 2 more pages I can deal with. I'm going to cut these off at the bottom because they're sticky. And I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to take it over here and just add it on to my other side. Okay, there is another set of pages. Here's a single one that I can work with. And I'm going to put it, let's put it right here. And let's use masking tape for this one. And maybe you don't want to run it clear down the edge. Maybe you just want to put it across like this. You're the boss. You do it however you wish. I'm going to put some on the other side too. And we have added a couple extra pages to our book. There we go. Now, let's go back to our page that we were working on. And let's add some color. It's still a little damp, but that's okay. Let's see here. Let me grab a drink of my coffee here and think about it. My absolutely disgusting coffee. I cannot drink another bite of it. Okay. I kind of like this over here. I don't really want to cover this up with paint. So I'm just going to kind of look for a color. And I'm just going to kind of go around the edges. Matter of fact, here's a gold. Let's just go around the edge of that with some gold. That gold has never been opened. I didn't even know I had that. I wonder how old that is. I'll be darned. I've been wanting to get some gold, and I didn't even realize that I had this. let's see what we got here. I've been wanting a gold that really covers. Do I have something I can wipe that up with? I'm sorry. Let's see if this gold is see-through or if it has good coverage. Let's see if it even is any good. Okay. Now, I'm just going to use my fingers. And I just want to go around the edges and just kind of blend it in with the edge. Remember, I'm a player, and I just want to go back to grade school, and I just want to be messy. It's honestly, it's very hard for me. It's a struggle because I've spent all my life, you know, people in school and stuff telling you how good you have to be, and it's hard to just do what you want. Now, I'm just smearing this paint out because this will one day be a page in one of my books that'll be beautiful. Okay, there's that. What else do I have? Let's just put some orange around this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple colors on here. I'm going to put some orange. And let's get another color. Let's get a purple, since we got purple over here a little bit. And let's just scrape those together to make some color over here. Isn't that pretty? Is orange and purple supposed to go together? I have no idea. But do we care? No. Because it's just fun. I think it's pretty. There we go. Over here, let's see what we got. It's kind of some purple in here too, isn't it? So that kind of acts like it goes with those two. Here's some blue. Let's do a little bit of green. We got some green over here. I don't know if this is kind of similar. Oh my goodness. This is another paint that has never been opened. This is a rack I have here on my desk that I keep all my paints in. And the kids use this rack more than I do. I have just a little handful of paints that I had over on my other work area, and I was using them over and over and over, and I decided I'm just going to put this paint rack over here on my table where I moved, and I'm going to start using that stuff. And here I am finding brand new paints I didn't even realize I had. Now, if you want to paint, paint. If you want to use your fingers, use your fingers. If you want to use your card, use your card. Just do whatever you want. I'm just getting some color on here because you know what? After I get done, I'm going to be ready to put a picture on there, and it'll be done, and I won't have thought about anything. Okay, I'm going to dry this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now, our next thing that I would like to do is called stamp and stencil. Let's not stencil. Let's just pretend that you don't have stencils, that you're really, really new to this and you haven't even thought about getting stencils yet. I want to show you some things you can already have. If you have bubble wrap, this is just fantabulous. Let's use some bubble wrap. I want to use some purple over here. So I'm going to dip my bubble wrap in this purple. No, I'm not going to dip it. I'm just going to rub it on there with my fingers. And I just want to get some marks on there. And, well, let's just go ahead and, I've got more paint here. Okay. Now, I have, if you don't have one stencil, if you don't have one stamp in your life, just get a text stamp. You don't have to go out and buy the block. You don't have to get one on a wooden block. You can just get a stamp that is just text. And I use this more than any other stamp that I have. I'm going to have to dry this and come back. Let's talk about my dryer real quick. This is called a heat gun, and I have had this thing for probably 20 years. I'm not kidding. Back when what was it called? Scrapbooking was popular and everybody was making their own cards and all that. I bought one of these because I wanted to try to emboss. But this will burn your fingers off. It's so hot. So you have to kind of learn where to hold it. Sounds like a hairdryer. But this I dry my stuff with. When I say, let me dry this real quick, that's what I'm doing, is I'm doing this. I'm just going over it and drying it. You can use a hair dryer. You can use anything you want. I have a hair dryer over there in the drawer, and when I have classes in here sometimes, or a friend over to play with me, we get the hair dryer out so we can both dry our stuff at the same time. So when I say I'm going to dry, this is what I'm doing. Okay, let's see if we can get some of this. Now, another thing is I got my ink pad is actually permanent ink. So if you get ink, make sure it says permanent on it. Otherwise, if you want to paint or do other things on top of it, it will smear it. And see, I'm just putting some text here and there for just another layer. You don't even have to read it. You don't even have to get it on straight. I'm just going over with another layer. Drying. The next thing I have is a homemade stamp. This I made out of a pink eraser. I just bought a package of pink erasers and I just carved. I do have a carving tool and it's not sitting over here. You can buy them. Maybe I should get it and show it to you. All right. This is my little carving tool and it looks like it says Speedball on it. I just got it at Hobby Lobby. Actually, in the end of it here, it has different little heads that you can put on. One's a V shape carving head. One is a U shape. One is a very fine shape. So it has those in the lid. And I just used it to carve. I drew on it what I wanted and I just used it to carve it out. Then also at an estate sale, I found these two tools, and I'm pretty sure that's what they were too. This one's just like a little knife on the end, maybe to make straight marks, and this one has a V shape. So I also found these at an estate sale. So let's go ahead. You could use this in one of two ways. You could use it with your ink pad, just to make marks on your paper. And if you don't have an ink pad, let's see, do I have any black? Midnight blue, that'll work. If you don't have any ink, and you still want to play, maybe we won't use midnight blue because I am impatient. I'm not sure that's even any good. Let's see if we can just use it. Then just put you some paint on there. Make sure you clean it afterwards because it will stick to that and then you won't have a nice smooth surface anymore. But just put some of your paint on there. And make some marks with it. Doesn't have to be perfect because I am just playing. Okay, I'm going to just put that in my water with my paint brushes over there. Now, this stamp is made out of foam, and it looks like I have 3 layers as the base that I glued together. You know that foam you get at the Dollar Tree package of that play foam for kids? I have 3 layers built up for my bottom, and then it looks like I have 3 more layers that I glued together and then cut these shapes out and glued them on. And I made my own stamp. So you don't have to go out and buy fancy stamps. I want to use this, but I want some white because we've got a lot of color on there and it's getting kind of busy. So I'm going to do this with white over the top of all this. And then you know what? This is ready for a picture to go on here. Now, if you have a cute picture out of a book you found, or a postcard, or a magazine image, well, next step will be the time to put that on here. Isn't that fun? I love it. Love, love, love it. You can be as neat and tidy about all this as you want. You can be as sloppy as all of this as you want. This book does not have to be seen by anybody but you if you don't want it to be. There. Now, I'm going to just go over that with some water real quick. I just got it wet, and I'm just going over it with my baby wipe. And voila, ready for the next adventure. Okay, let me dry this, and we will find a picture that we want to put on these pages. Okay, I think I found what I want. I found this in a children's book, like, you know, Look, Dick, Look. Run, fast, run. I found it in one of those books. So I think I want to put this on here. Kind of blending in, isn't it? But I don't mind. I like it. We might take some white and just go around and make a little like cloud of white paint for him to go on. But not yet. No, let's do the white paint first. Because I also found this napkin, and I just want to put the big flower up here in the corner. So I wanted to show you about napkins. Let me move this aside because it's still wet. Napkins are usually 2 or 3 ply. So you want to take those plies apart, otherwise your glue doesn't stick very well. I just take a piece of tape and tear it off like that. And I tear this first layer off. And then we'll put the tape on it again to see if there's another layer on it. Now, a lot of people save these white things here to use again. I never remember what to do with them, so I've been pitching them. There's actually videos out there. You know what? This is only 2 ply. This doesn't have another ply. So I'm going to just cut this flower out. Now when you put your Mod Podge or whatever you want to put on this picture to glue it on, the white part kind of melts into whatever color you're gluing it on and disappears. So it's kind of cool. You don't have to worry about there being white around it. So I want to put that on. Let's bring my book back in. Let's put this on. I'm going to have to dry that a little bit. It's still wet. Okay. I'm going to use this matte, this runny stuff. Now, I don't know if you guys can see the different layers we have on here. You can see the music in there. You can see some of the little squares of the pattern paper we put on. Here's a little strip up here of the other one. See how it all just adds layers and makes it look more, I don't know what. It's just cool. It's fun. Now I'm going to go back over this with just a tiny bit of that. And that makes it just kind of melt on in together. Isn't that nifty? Nifty neato, isn't it? I love it. Okay, so let's go down here. And let's put where our little boy is going to be. Let's just put a little bit of white in there so that it kind of shows up around him so he doesn't blend in so much. I use a tea towel. I don't know if you can see it. It eventually gets so colorful that I use this for like covers on my books and stuff, on my art journals. This is going to kind of go up here. It's going to kind of go down here. And it's going to go over here. And it's going to kind of go up here. Okay, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to smush some white on there so that he has a place, can stick out a little bit, not blend in with those colors so much. Now, I could have put him, glued him on like a piece of book page. I could have glued him on a piece of scrapbook paper. I could have glued him on anything to give him a background. Just use your imagination and let it run wild. Okay. Drying. Okay, note to self, when you do this in your book, do the white first, completely let it dry, and then glue the little boy on, because I glued it right on wet, and it was very hard for me to run my fingers over the edge because I would be pulling white paint up on my little boy. So, good idea to let that layer dry first. Now, I'm loving this over here. So I don't even want to add anything to it. I want to take, my friend Fawn sent me a Happy Mail box and she had painted these hearts on it and I like them. So I just cut the top in the shape of a tag and I'm going to use this in my pocket over here for my tag. So what I want to do is I want to go around the edge with some ink. If you have ink pads, great. If you don't, just go around the edge with some paint or something, or a marker. All my markers and stuff are in the house. I've been sitting in there doodling on book pages, so let's go over it with just a little bit of paint. I did buy these neon paints at the Dollar Tree. I saw a lady using neon colors and I thought, wow, I want to really try that. And I bought these, and they are not worth the bottle they're in. They're very see-through. They don't leave a lot of coverage. But I think this will be perfect just to go around the edge of this, just to give the edge some color. It's actually called neon paint. I thought it was for what do you call it? Tempera. I thought it was called tempera paint, but it's not. I just wanted to frame it a little bit, knock off some of that just raw cardboard. Now on the back I want to put a journaling spot. So let's find a plain piece of paper. Here's one. Let's glue this to the back of our tag. And that'll give us a spot to journal, write on. You don't have to. You could put another picture back here if you wanted. Remember, you're the boss. You could do whatever you wanted back here. You could paint it. You could put another magazine picture back here. You can write back here. You can do whatever you want. And of course, I'm not letting it dry like I should. Let's see if we can get this torn off of here while it's still wet. Might have to let it dry. How do we do that? How are we going to get that off of there? We're going to just cut it. I kind of wanted it to look ripped, but it's on there wet, and I'm afraid I can't really pull too much with it wet. Ava. Ava is on here. You know her by My Brainy Mess. Ava, I am doing this. If you're watching this, Ava does not need to watch a video on how to do things as a beginner. Ava is a rock star. She is so good at drawing. She's so good at taking other pictures and making them look like she drew them. She is a master at playing. And I said, I wish there was a way I could videotape and look at a screen on my computer or something to see make sure everything's in frame instead of standing up over and over and looking up here at my phone to see if everything's in frame. And Ava said, there is a way, if you have a smart TV, you can run it over to your TV. And I had won a TV through a raffle that we did for my granddaughter's softball team. So I ran in the bedroom, the spare bedroom. I was going to set it up in there for the grandkids when they come over so they could watch this TV. and it said it was a smart TV on it. Well, granddaughter in college came home last weekend for a visit, and she was over here visiting, and I told her this is what I wanted to do, and she just pulled out my phone and showed me how to do it. Ava, thank you. I am sitting here glancing over at my TV every once in a while to make sure I am in frame. Absolutely amazing. Now, if you can just teach me how you do your editing on your phone, your fast forwarding and all of that stuff, I'd be right uptown with the big girls. So, here we go. We have a tag. Let me dry it real quick. Okay. Now, I'm just going, you can do whatever you want. If you have stamps, you could stamp something on the back, you know. I'm just going to write on it. I'm going to pretend like I don't have any of that stuff, and I'm just going to say 2025 new series on YouTube. Beginner. Is beginner. Is it one N or two? It's going to be two N's today. Beginner Junk Journal series. Having fun just using what we have. Okay? There we go. Now, what I'm going to do over here, and we've gone way over our allotted time, so I'm going to do it off screen. I have this box of letters that I have cut out of magazines, and it's a beer flat, and I just Mod Podged different little sections in it for every letter of the alphabet. I got this idea from Janet Nash, and you could go to her channel and look. She has a video on her making it, I believe. And I'm going to dig out the letters in here and glue them over here that says Go Tom Go, or Ride Tom Ride, or something like that up here. Okay? So, there we have it. We've done the first 2 pages of our little book that we built out of absolutely nothing but a flour bag or a bunch of pieces of paper that we've put together. Next time we will make different tags. We'll make a tag and a pocket to put on our next pages, okay? We'll do a tag and a pocket on these pages, or a tag to go in our pocket. How's that? So until next time, thank you for joining me. Bye-bye from Birdie.